We are live. Hello. We don't do this very often, but I am joined today by the founder of Hani Mourra of Repurpose.io. And if you've never heard of Repurpose.io, you're going to be a expert by the end of this video. But my purpose for connecting with Hani, my purpose for talking about Repurpose is I think that it is your secret weapon as content creators. First off, before we get into who this video is meant for, I want to tell a story about why I connected with Hani in the first place. I am someone who markets themselves through video marketing. And video marketing is short form video, creating content that's under 60 seconds long. It's through YouTube. It's through organic methods online. And the truth is that video has been on a crazy rise over the last 2-3 years with the rise of TikTok and it being the most engaged kind of content that people are putting out there. But what we're talking about today is video can be very overwhelming if you have no experience doing video for your e-commerce brand or other kinds of products and services that you might be selling. And what Repurpose.io does, it actually allows you to be smarter with your content production, specifically video, so that you can create video for your brand and repurpose it across multiple platforms, allowing you to be better with your workflows and smarter. So what we are covering today is video as a conversation, how it's something that you cannot ignore it anymore, but also when you get started with video, or maybe you're already doing video, and let me know below if you are, but just how to just be smarter with your workflows so you can start to automate your content distribution so that you can get back to doing what you love, which is either creating the content, product design, running your company, whatever that looks like. So that is why we're here. That's what we're talking about today. And before we get into like the crux of stuff, Hani, welcome to Launch and Scale.
Hi, thanks for having me here. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, what's nuts is you're in Toronto as well. What are the odds?
What are the odds? Small world. The internet is a small world.
It's very small. So for people who don't know what Repurpose.io is, could you kind of give us the elevator pitch of what it is and that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an online platform. It's a software that will automate your content repurposing and distribution so that you can create content on one platform and it'll automatically distribute it to all others.
Yeah. And so what are some examples of things that people can do with your software?
Yeah. So if you create long form content, YouTube videos, interviews, podcast type things, you can take a long form, a video from YouTube, and Repurpose will let you cut it up into small clips and then distribute those clips to all different platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram Reels, etc. That's kind of one way you can repurpose content. And if you're creating short form content like TikToks or Reels, you can automatically distribute those as well to all other platforms like YouTube Shorts and also on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook pages, groups, etc. So the whole premise is you don't have to change the way you create content or your favorite content platforms. You connect all the platforms that you want to repurpose from and to.
Yeah.
And then you set up these rules. We'll go in more details a little later, but you set up these rules or like magic recipes, so you can tell it which content to grab and where to put it.
Yeah, and I started this challenge called 60 Days to 100,000 Followers. And at the time, my VA was like, okay, well, we're going to have to put out a lot of content. Like, you want to post on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and you want to post how many times a day, and you have a business you still want to run. Like, how is this going to happen? And so she came to me because like my VA is very smart and she does not want to do a bunch of manual work over and over and over and over again. Like, no one wants to do that. So she came to me with a solution for like, look, if you're putting out this much content for the sprint, have you heard of this thing called Repurpose.io? And I was like, yeah, I used it a little bit in the past. We didn't use it the way I wanted it to. So this time I committed a day just to go in and figure out some workflows for us. And within just a couple of hours, I had a system to take a YouTube video and publish it to the podcast automatically. I had a way to, and my favorite magic recipe is to be able to take a 10-minute YouTube video, put chapters in it, and have your software automatically splice it into clips that you can then automatically post to TikTok. And when I look at what that's allowed us to do with these automations is that I've been able to, we hit 100,000 views on YouTube, 45,000 of which were in the last 30 days of just starting to get onto YouTube Shorts and have a production system that would allow us to record one video and publish that across what I call the big five, which is Pinterest idea pins, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok. And so with what your software has allowed us to build in the back end, I'm able to put out way, way, way more content with much less effort with a smarter system. So that's why we're here.
I love it. I love it. No, that's exactly why this software was created. It was just to help you get your content out. You focus on creating on one platform, creating the content once, and let it publish and distribute everywhere you want it to go.
So I get, and Med, this is a great question. When I talk to new sellers about content, they get overwhelmed. Like they see the purpose of Repurpose, they're like, this would be great, but they have a few things that stop them from creating content that I'd love to start with. So when it comes to creating content, a lot of people think, I don't know what to talk about, or I don't want my face on video, or maybe they're already creating content on Instagram and they just feel that they're kind of cheating by taking that same content and distributing that same content across different platforms. I'd love to talk about that one because there is this belief in the social media world that you can't repurpose your content because it's kind of cheating, or you don't want your followers to see the same kind of content across platforms. I'd love to kind of start there.
Yeah. I mean, to me, your content, the way algorithms work, not everybody will see your content, right? That's the reality. You can post it on this channel, that channel, doesn't mean every single one of your followers is going to see that piece of content. So by putting it on all the different platforms, even if people are following you on multiple platforms, you're just increasing the chance that your followers will see it. That's number one.
Yeah.
And number two, this content has value. Like you've created this content, it has value. It's not, hopefully it's not just, being silly and dancing around, and that's okay too once in a while, but with a business, you're delivering value and you're putting that across different platforms. So your audience can see, like we talked about a second ago, but also new people can discover it, right? New people can see it, can share it, can retweet it, can reshare it, etc. So if you are worried about, posting everything at the same time, I wouldn't worry about it. And if you are a little bit concerned, like, I want to stagger things, you do have the option to schedule content through the platform. So you can schedule clip 1 on Monday and clip 2 on this platform on Wednesday, and kind of shuffle it a little bit so that you can show different clips or different videos on different days. So there is that ability to schedule content from inside of Repurpose.
Yeah. And what's interesting too is when you talk to consumers about how they like to consume content, people learn differently. Some people prefer to listen to an audio podcast. Others prefer just the 30-second trailer of what your video is about before they commit to the full thing. Others want the image or the thing on Pinterest that has like just bullet points what your thing's about. Like sometimes people want to read the blog as opposed to watch the video. So being able to take one piece of content and switch that into different forms is even good for retention, learning, and engaging with different kinds of people as well.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, people learn differently. People, have less time, more time. Some people are always on the go. They want to listen. Me personally, I take my dog for a walk. I like to listen to content, especially when it's longer. So it's good. It's so good to have your content in different formats and on different platforms as well.
Yeah. So I would love to talk about video. I just finished writing an email to promote something for our list, and there was an article I came across for the 135 video stats you cannot ignore in 2022. Okay. And I learned a lot, but for someone who is kind of on the fence about video, I want to talk about why we got to get on video. And Henny, what I love about your marketing is you do a lot of video marketing yourself. So kind of already on that. But video in 2022 is something that we as brands can no longer ignore. A couple of things in the industry that have happened is YouTube has announced a partnership with Shopify where content creators can sell their product straight from their YouTube channel.
Oh, wow.
Number two, Instagram is no longer a photo sharing app. It is a video first app. With the rise of TikTok being, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's one of the top 3 social media platforms for consumption right now. Because they dominated short form video, all the other platforms right now, Pinterest, Facebook, YouTube Shorts, etc., are trying to catch up. TikTok has proven that user engagement with short form videos beats any other kind of content, at least by a factor of 2. So based on that, all these other platforms are trying to catch up. And we have this really cool opportunity right now where if you want to go viral on platforms, if you want to grow your following faster, you need to pay attention to what are some of the new features they're releasing. The second Instagram went first with video or YouTube put out their shorts, their algorithm starts to favor content around those new features. So part of the reason our channel has grown so much in just the last 30 days is because we prioritize short form video. And because YouTube's algorithm is favoring short form video, they are pushing that, allowing you to get more engagement, more views faster, etc. So it's just when you look at the data, when you look at the engagement on the platforms with these kinds of videos, when you look at how ads are kind of broken now and you have to get better with creative, with video marketing, you are going to be at a huge disadvantage if you don't get on that video bandwagon.
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely. In short form, like if you're just getting into video now, just focus on short form, learn how to create short form. And I say learn, I don't mean take a course on it, but I mean study what other people are doing on TikTok and Reels and mimic them a little. Like don't copy what they're saying, but copy their style. And I found this framework just by watching a bunch of different videos, and it's typically like, do your hook. I didn't make this up. This is just what I see. Do your hook, catch their attention. The first 3 seconds are critical. If they don't watch past the 3 seconds and they drop off, then the algorithm says, oh, this video is no good. So catch them in the first 3 seconds, deliver your value, 1, 2, 3 bullet points max, and then a call to action. Hey, follow me for more, or for more content repurposing tips, follow us here, or go check out our free course. Whatever it is, your call to action, just give them one call to action after your video. So it took me some time to get really good. I'm still not great, but I got comfortable creating short form video because it's different than getting on an interview like we're doing now. And we're chatting. It's totally different. You got to be straight to the point. You got to be clear. You got to go boom, 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 done. You have to do it in under 60 seconds.
Yeah. And so we have 2 kinds of people watching this video right now. We have service providers, personal brands, agency owners, etc. And we also have the online sellers, e-commerce brands. One hang up when it comes to video marketing is some people do not want to show their face on video. So I'd love to talk a bit about what people can do for different kinds of content and kind of if you had to, so we'll start there. Number 1, you don't have to be the face of your brand. This is a huge point with e-commerce owners, because if you are the face of your brand, it's going to be really hard to separate that if you are looking to do an exit in a couple years. You may have started your brand if you are a doctor and you kind of started as the face for credibility, but you may want to slowly move away. So number 1, you don't have to be on video. You can actually hire local talent to be your brand representatives, so to speak. Okay, so that is one thing. Or you can, if you have a team, you can actually assign someone on your team to be your TikTok person full time. And by TikTok, we mean short form video, because I think that what's super interesting is the conversation used to be about get on TikTok. But I don't think it's about TikTok anymore. I think it's about having a content production system allowing you to do short form video, because you have to distribute across multiple channels. Some videos for me that get like 200 views on TikTok get 3.5K, like 3,500 On YouTube, algorithms are different. So you're kind of shortchanging yourself if you take that, if you are going through the process of making the video, but not giving it maximum distribution.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The content is there. The value is there. There's no reason not to do it. And that's why this, Repurpose was there to help you automate that, systemize that. And, especially for those that don't have a big team around them, this is the tool for those. It was designed for those people who don't have a big team or big budgets to spend on hiring somebody full time to manage this, upload here, cut this, trim that. So we automate a lot of it, and we help systemize it so you have full control from one dashboard.
Yeah. Med actually has a really good question. Is there analytics with Repurpose to monitor which platforms one videos are performing best and worst on?
That's a great question. We've considered going in that angle, but we decided, at least for now, we're sticking in our lane. Like, our lane is specializing in grabbing content from one platform, remixing it, spinning it up if you want to, and then distributing it to other platforms. So we focus strictly on that, on the automation side of that. So we don't do any analytics, but there are some tools out there. I think there's one called Metricool, I think is a good one. And there's another one that not many people have heard of. It's called Measure.studio. It's also great. You connect your social media platform and it'll track trends. So there's platforms out there that specialize in that. And we stuck in our lane, saying we're the automation, repurposing. That's what we do, and we keep adding more and more integration. So the short answer is we don't have it built in. It may come in the future, but to be perfectly honest, I don't think it'll be in the near future. We're focusing on the content and the repurposing of it and the distribution of it.
Yeah, and Med, that's a great question. Like, our workflow is a mix of Metricool and Repurpose. We have actually extended trial links for both available below this video. If you'd like to learn a little bit more, but Metricool has like really good analytics reporting. It's super affordable. So if someone is just getting started with content, why don't we go? What I prefer, okay, it's overwhelming to get into video and everyone knows you got to do it, but they're like, I don't know what's going to work. So if I had to restart TikTok or start TikTok for a brand we work with, what I would suggest you do is write down what is the result that you're looking to get for your customer. Like, when your customer uses your product, let's say the Monk Manual, it's a planner that helps you get more peaceful being and gratitude in your life. And if you're the Monk Manual and you don't want to, Steven doesn't want to be the face of that brand, what you can start to do is focus on, all right, well, what's the thing that my journal helps someone on? What's that journey? What's that transformation? And if someone coming to him uses the Monk Manual to get more gratitude and just peace in their life, then your content should be on that topic. And what I would do is pick the first 3 to 5 videos, introduce yourself and the brand. Number 2, talk more about the system. You can do customer testimonial. You can do UGC content. You can go to the top questions you're getting on social media, answer them. Things like that. If people want to see more about how the weekly pages work, you can do a short form video about weekly pages. Lots you can do. Start with what questions your customers are asking.
Yeah, and we did something similar. I mean, when I joined TikTok when it first came out, but I didn't do anything. I just joined it, and then I'm like, well, this is not for our brand. It's the younger kids dancing kind of brand, right? I'm like, no, stay away from that for a while. And then I think around November, I'm like, you know what? We need to start looking to TikTok. It's not going anywhere, right? It's only getting bigger and bigger. So the first thing I did, I just like, I think I mentioned earlier, I'm like, does anybody even talk about content repurposing on TikTok? So I went to the search bar, I typed in content repurposing. I'm like, oh, interesting. So I started watching and following and learning. So I just kind of observed for a few weeks, who was talking about content repurposing? How are they making their videos? Then I just started making notes. I'm like, okay, do this style video, try this style video. So before I even talk about any of our product, I just started teaching basically that. I just started showing how I made my videos. For example, I used to have these captions that kind of come on the screen as I'm talking. So I made a video about that. I'm like, here's how I do it. And the funny story is, I was talking to a customer the other day, and I always ask this question. I'm curious how you heard about Repurpose. He loves it. He's raving about it. I'm like, how did you hear about it? He goes, Funny story. I saw you on TikTok teaching people how to do that caption video, and I was intrigued by that. I just started following you. And then once I started following you, you kept sharing more information, and then eventually I got into talking about the product, and then that's how we discovered it. So you don't need, as a brand, you don't need to always talk about your product. Teach, get people to kind of like you, like your brand, like, learn from you, and then when they follow you, they'll see more of your content, and you can throw in promotional stuff or how-to stuff related to your product then.
Yeah. And so let's say we now have someone they've uploaded 20 TikTok videos or 20 Instagram reels, wherever they're kind of starting their video journey, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna try this repurpose thing. Do you have like a couple of recommended workflows that you recommend starting with? Or
Yeah, I find if you really want to be hands-free or minimal contact with the keyboard and the trackpad or whatever you want to call it, I would recommend going TikTok first. So go TikTok, whether you want to edit on the TikTok app or use your own third-party editor, it doesn't matter. Just get your content on TikTok in whatever way you're comfortable with. And then you can set up inside of Repurpose basically 5 or 6 workflows. The first one I would do is, well, the top 2 would be TikTok to Instagram Reels. That's the first one. Well,
yeah.
And then Instagram to IG Reel, to YouTube Shorts. So those 2, at a minimum, do those 2. Like I've seen so many people post screenshots of their YouTube channel, especially the YouTube Shorts now, because it's still relatively new. And like you mentioned earlier, new stuff gets a lot of attention from those platforms. They're exploding. These brands, there's a scooter brand somewhere in Europe. I can't remember exactly where. And every week, I didn't ask. I didn't even know. They were posting and tagging us saying, our YouTube channel, our videos got over 1 million views, and brands all over the world are reaching out to us through our YouTube channel. And it's just like, wow. Take advantage of these new platforms that are trying to compete with TikTok in short form, especially in the short form world.
Yeah.
And be on there. And the easiest way is, if you already have content on TikTok, you can literally click a button and send that video to YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
And just one tip here we've kind of seen from people is, don't just take all 20 TikToks and send them all to YouTube in one day. You don't want to do that. You don't want to you're kind of spamming the system there. You're kind of like, this is not normal user activity. People are going to be like, or the system's going to be like, well, something's not right here. So you may not get the reach. Just do 1 per day. Do 1 per day, maybe 2 max per day.
Yeah.
Just, trickle them in. You can even schedule right inside of Repurpose if you want to. And then that's it. Every day or every second day, experiment what's working for you and get that content out to different platforms. And you can't compare the numbers between platforms, by the way. You can't say, oh, I'm only getting 1,000 here and I'm getting 1 million here. It's not about getting equal number of views on all the platforms. It's just about being on all the platforms so that you have the visibility on all the platforms. One will work better. One video will work better here. One video will work better there. So,
because
way too much, but Shorts and Reels, start with those. I would even start with Shorts first. Shorts, and then just schedule 1 video per day, or maybe every second day. It's kind of experiment. I can't give you how the algorithm works. I don't know how it works, but I just say don't post more than once a day. Maybe 3 times a week, or maybe once a day in the beginning, but not more than once a day is my recommendation.
To start.
So
what's interesting is that when you look at performance of videos between a TikTok video versus the same one on Instagram, the same one on YouTube, I can literally have a video bomb on TikTok and Instagram, but go viral on YouTube because it's a different algorithm with different factors, and the audiences that are on YouTube are different than Instagram, are different than TikTok. So to your point about don't get worried if one underperforms or overperforms on certain platforms, because the algorithms totally different and they're still trying to figure out stuff. So,
and the big thing about YouTube is, TikTok, what TikTok's also becoming like this is YouTube's always been known as a search engine, right? TikTok is becoming actually a very powerful search engine as well.
Yeah.
Other platforms like Reels, like Instagram, and maybe Facebook Reels, they're not search oriented. So the content is like, you get initial views in the first day or 2, or maybe 3-4 days, and then it kind of goes away.
Yeah.
With TikTok, the like people can search very easily and find old content, but more importantly, YouTube as well. So you think of YouTube Shorts as a kind of a short-term investment where you get initial views and then you get a long-term trickle of people viewing your content because YouTube is serving that content because it is a search engine, whether it's shorts or whether it's regular videos. They're going to serve them in Google searches even sometimes.
It's so true in that we get a lot of our YouTube traffic coming from people Googling questions, and then we have a video on that topic, whether that is a 60-second short or a 15-minute video. So for us to have that built-in SEO is another, great reason to do YouTube because it is searchable content.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is.
Couple of things. So you can go the other direction. You can start on Instagram and push over to TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of go each way. You can do YouTube Shorts to TikTok, YouTube Shorts to Instagram. It's bi-directional.
Yes, it's designed so that whatever you're comfortable with first. If you've been building your brand on YouTube Shorts already, fantastic. Take it from there and repurpose those to TikTok, to Reels, to Twitter, LinkedIn, and see how they work. And even if you don't get, again, it's not about like getting 1 million views every time or 10,000 or whatever the number you want. It's about the quality, right? You want the right people watching your content. So just keep that in mind. Don't get obsessed with numbers.
Or obsessed with trends that bring in the wrong people.
Yeah, exactly. You might have 1 million views or do a trend and then it's like the wrong people are watching. They're not going to become customers. Then what's the point? Right? It's becoming more of a vanity metric than anything else. It's like, oh, I got 1 million views, but okay, maybe like less than 1% will actually become customers or are the right audience for you. So that's why I tend to focus on educating people about, in my case, content repurposing, a little bit about our tool, a little bit about how to create content, whatever, anything to do with content, I'll talk about. Anything else, it makes no sense. I can do a dance. I'm sure I might get 1 million. Well, nobody wants to watch me dance, but you know what I mean. I can do something crazy, but I'm going to attract the wrong audience. So it doesn't help me at all.
So a couple workflows that help me a lot. Removing the TikTok watermark is automated. So 2 workflows we have set up. We have one that automatically pulls the watermark off YouTube or TikTok videos and puts them in Google Drive as a backup.
Mm-hmm.
And we have another one then to take with the no watermark video and push that over to like Instagram or Shorts or whatever. But removing the watermark has been such a manual, painful process with like save tick or something. So I like keeping a backup of all my content in Google Drive just in case whatever, without a watermark. Mm-hmm. So that makes cleaner content. The other thing is that I think that online brands are really missing out on having a podcast, number one. This isn't a conversation about getting you to have a podcast and building a community, but it's more for people who are already doing long form YouTube content and you have 10 to 15 minutes of whatever, and you release something once a month, once a week. I think that you being able to, we have a workflow now that literally takes that long form YouTube content, because we can tell your system to exclude any videos with the hashtag shorts. We could take any of our long form YouTube content and automatically push it over to Libsyn, meaning distribute the podcast. And how we get that to work, we've been able to eliminate podcast editing, where we just will take the YouTube video and then we put bumpers on the end of it. So your intro and outro file. So as long as you're smart with like how you're recording your YouTube video and it's not over edited and you don't have all these intros and sponsorships and whatever, if you can do, just a clean take, then that audio can have those like beginning and ending and go straight over to Apple, etc.
Yes, that's very underutilized, especially for long form videos. A lot of people don't know in general, whether it's through Repurpose or you're doing it manually, that you can turn video content into an audio podcast, because a lot of people would love to learn from you or hear your content, but they can't just put YouTube on their phone while they're driving. It's just too much of a distraction, or they're walking their dog or whatever. At the gym, even I listen to podcasts at the gym when I used to go to the gym. But the point is, you want to make it accessible. So just audio only, they can listen to through whatever phone, whether it's Apple, Android, even through Spotify as well. But the point is, having audio podcasts is very powerful. And there's something about literally being in their head, like being in their ears when they're listening to you through headphones, it's just, it builds a connection. You build a following. They subscribe to your podcast. They look forward to your content next week, next month, whenever, however often you publish.
Yeah.
And it's a deeper connection than someone just watching random video on YouTube. So it's almost like next level relationship. When they go
It
enter your
is.
podcast, they're more in tune, and they're more like they're focused. They want more. Like, I remember one story when I followed this podcast, and every Tuesday they launch a new episode. Every Tuesday, and then one Tuesday, I was like, it was noon. I was like, okay, there's no episode. I'm going on my walk, and I was like, I need this content. I like tweeted at them, hey guys, what's going on? No episodes. They're like, oh no, we had technical after like 500 episodes. They had a small glitch, and they were late by a few hours. But I noticed, because I'm a very loyal follower of the podcast. But that's the kind of relationship podcast builds. So keep that in mind. If you're starting, don't get overwhelmed. Don't start a podcast if you're just making content. Get in the habit of making content. You can always take all your videos that you've done in the past and turn them into podcasts through Repurpose or other softwares.
Exactly. That's a really good point. Another reason why content isn't sustainable for a lot of brands is because if you feel in the beginning that you have to produce 20 pieces of content a day, it's not sustainable. You're going to burn out. Content is a long-term brand building play. So if you can start with just one video a day or 3 videos a week, you can start there. And as you build consistent habits, your MVP, minimum viable product or minimum viable effort, you're then able to add complexity. We're kind of like, I think we're your ideal client in that we've been producing content for over 3 years. We've got the podcast, we've got the channels, we've got the help. And actually, you'll be surprised that, having someone set up Repurpose and manage the whole content system is not that hard. I have a VA helping me 1 to 2 hours a day to manage the whole process. So it's actually not that, once it's set up, it's really, really easy to maintain.
Yeah, I'm sure they love it too, because they've limited all the manual work that they were doing in the past of like downloading, cutting, editing, trimming, publishing. And it's all like, you have one interface that you can, the way our software is set up, you can turn things on fully automatic so that you don't even need to log in, and
I know
workflows can happen. Or if you want to, control what the title, the description, the captions, the hashtags, you can just hit publish, fix those up, and then publish or schedule. So it's designed to go both ways. And I think like in my account, I have a mix. Some work over auto. So like I publish to TikTok, it goes to Shorts, it goes to LinkedIn, it goes to all these, my short form content is fully auto. I don't need to do anything. I just publish on TikTok and it goes everywhere else.
Yeah.
Long form content, I want to go in and like make clips and then schedule a clip for Monday, for Wednesday, for Friday.
Of course.
So you have that control.
I'm wondering, because we just have a couple minutes left here, is there something that you see your customers getting hung up on all the time that we should maybe talk about?
Yeah, I mean, we have a wide range of customers, and I think we've lately been attracting, the good news, at least for us, is we're attracting the customers that are already creating content. So people who are not creating content, I think we talked about, tips of creating, and I think that's very important, is if you're not creating, don't focus on the repurposing yet, right? Just get in the habit of creating. Go 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 day, 2 days. Just get in the habit of creating content. And then you can always go back and, a month or so later, repurpose that content. So with our software, you don't have to, it won't only repurpose new stuff. You can repurpose anything you've ever published on your TikTok channel ever, or your YouTube channel, or, your reels, whatever. So if you haven't made content, just focus on how do we start getting in the habit of making content, whether it's long videos, 4 or 5 minute videos, or it's 60-second short content. So that's number one. If you're not creating, focus on creating. And then once you have content, then you can go back and figure out optimal repurposing and distribution. That's one. And then, I think, it's hard to say. I mean, we have long form creators, we have audio only creators, we have short form creators. I'm just trying to think top of mind, like what comes to mind in terms of problems. I mean, people sometimes ask, sometimes they feel maybe they don't have enough content, or they create on multiple platforms. And like, where do I repurpose from? Like, should I take my YouTube stuff or should I take my TikTok stuff? So if they're already posting on multiple, where should they focus on first? And I mean, I can give my 2 cents, and I'd love to hear your 2 cents.
Yeah, I'd love to hear yours.
For me, long form, if you're making long form, to me, my definition of long form is anything over a minute. Let's just keep it simple. Anything over 60 seconds, YouTube first. Go to YouTube, optimize on YouTube. There's tools out there like vidIQ and a few other tools out there that will help you optimize for keywords and help you put titles, and so that you can rank better in their search engine. Put nice thumbnails. So do all the work. Put the chapters in there. Everything on YouTube first. Then with repurpose, it's automatic. You can take from YouTube. If you have the chapters, it'll make the clips for you. You can also just take the whole video and put it onto LinkedIn, the whole video, and put it onto other platforms. So starting YouTube first is my recommendation. YouTube, optimize. That's if you're doing long form. If you're doing short form, for me, at least the way I'm doing it, and I've been getting good success with it, and it's very hands-free, is to go TikTok first. So TikTok first, optimize. I don't have an editor, like a video editor on our team. I use myself, just use the TikTok app. I think it's, initially I was like, this is kind of hard. I have big thumbs. I have a small phone. Like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
But I got in the habit of like, okay, I'm just going to keep this really simple. Put a couple stickers, pick this track, put the keywords, post it, and just kind of build my own little system routine. And that's it. I do everything. I record on my phone with just the camera app. I pull in the clips into TikTok, edit them up, put the music, stickers, or whatever it is they call it, the text, whatever you want. Again, don't overdo it. Those, keep it simple. And then I hit publish, and then from there it goes to shorts, to reels, to Twitter, LinkedIn, and Pinterest, all automatically through repurpose.io.
Yeah, that's exactly my workflow. I think that the TikTok video editor right now is the best, the easiest to use. And it's just the most fun to use, in my opinion. So anything that I'm recording, kind of a face video where I'm talking to the camera, is in TikTok. Or if you are an online brand that doesn't want to use your face, then you can use your camera to record product shots or people talking about it or whatever, upload it to the editor and push out from TikTok. Versus with you. So we have two kinds of short form content. The one that we do on TikTok, and then the ones that we pull clips from YouTube to then take the long form and then push from YouTube into everything else. So it gives us like two kinds of content.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. We haven't started doing that. I treat them in my mind separately.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, it makes sense. If you have clips of your YouTube video, those are perfect. They can go on to TikTok, and then once it's on TikTok, it can be automated to the other platforms as well. Like, there's so much possibilities, but I feel like the fact that you don't have to change the way you create. That's always been like when I created this software about 5 years ago, I said, don't let people, don't force them to use a tool or to go to one platform or to upload a file to repurpose. That was like a rule in my mind. Just let them do what they're comfortable doing and let the software repurpose from that platform to other platforms. So there's no manual uploading ever. Like, don't change anything. Whatever. I don't care what podcasting platform you're on, or if you like YouTube versus Facebook Live versus TikTok versus IG Reels, you can do what you like, and you can set up the rules to repurpose from there to other platforms.
Which is why you have such diverse workflows to wherever someone's at, you're able to meet them there with those.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not customized for them, but it's designed to, I always tell people, what are you doing now? Write that down and then figure out, okay, what part can I automate from repurpose? Don't change how you're doing it, because you have a system. Like, we all have habits of doing content, and we all revert back to those habits. And if you have a system that's working, hey, to me, working means you're posting content. I mean, it doesn't have to be the perfect system. If you're posting content regularly and you have a way of doing it, whatever tool you like, whatever platform you like to go to first, go there, keep doing that, and then repurpose from there.
Love it. One last question from Julie. So for TikTok, you are recording short conversations on your phone and then putting in TikTok and editing there. So just to clarify, I'm a kind of content creator that talks like this. So I am the face of my brand and I talk about something. I record straight onto TikTok when I'm talking. But if you're like Julie, you're selling a planner. If you are recording clips on your planner in the wild, etc., you can either do that straight from the TikTok editor, or you can compile clips on your phone to do that. So there's a couple ways to do it.
That's a great question. Yeah, I do it on my phone. I don't know why. I just I just like to just hit record, and I record my phone on the native camera app, whatever is on my phone.
Yeah.
And then I do a few clips, and then I import the ones, I heart the ones that I like. These are the good ones, and then I go into TikTok and I import those clips. That's again, that's just the way I do it. There's no right or wrong. But yeah, it's whatever you're comfortable. You can want to record directly in TikTok, fantastic. If you want to, sometimes you're out and you just record something like, oh, I want to use this as part of my TikTok. Then you can import those clips from your phone as well.
Yeah. I think what TikTok helped me get over was I really thought I had to be like over polished, professionally edited. And that really restricted my creativity and my ability to pump out a lot of videos, because I'm more of it's really easy for me to do 5 TikToks a day.
Oh, wow.
But because I can just talk about something that's very difficult for most people. So definitely do not start there, but like one every couple of days. But because I can pump out volume, I finally got over needing to look good on camera, because TikTok actually rewards just showing up in the wild, showing up naturally. So I take this with a grain of salt. This is just how we do it. I just prefer to show up as is and record something versus overthink, over edit, and hope it's going to do well. Because in the beginning stages, you have to look at your content as if you're testing to see what works with your audience. So I more err on the side of I want to put out a bit more content, to as long as it falls under the this is good content that I stand behind, to get data to see what's going to work for engagement, for views, etc. So that helps me speed up the process of figuring out what's going to work for my audience.
That's a great tip. Yeah, I'm I got to learn from you, because I get on there and I'm recording and I'm like, I don't like that. Oh, my hat was crooked. I'm like, let me do that take again. And then I'm like, and then you spend all this time, and not now, in the beginning, you spend all this time, and then the video gets maybe a couple hundred views because it's your first video, and it's like, why did I invest all that time, right? So it's not about how you look. I know it's hard because you're looking at yourself and you're like, oh, I should have shaved this morning. It's not about that. It's about what you're saying and how you're delivering it, the energy you're putting on there. But definitely in the beginning, it's going to be slow. So that's why I study what people are doing and kind of mimic styles of video in terms of how they structure it. And then from there, I just started kind of adapting it to my own style. And this is how I do it. I'm walking sometimes, and one thing, you got to keep changing it up, especially background. If I record a video like this, just plain background for the whole 1 minute, it's not as engaging. So I record. Remember, I mentioned those 5, intro, point 1, point 2, point 3, and call to action. I literally record them separately. Like 5 clips, and I change scenes. I go outside, I go inside. I just change the angle, maybe just subtle differences, so that people, like, their brain doesn't fall asleep and then they just end up scrolling away. Just changing your background is one tip I learned from a lot of short form creators. It's every few seconds, almost like every 10 seconds, just changing the camera angle, even just as simple as that.
That's what's known as pattern interrupt, and is a tactic to help keep engagement and keep people watching, because your brain is forced to kind of readjust and figure out, oh, wait, what's going on? So if you ever look at creators that are changing up, like I've started doing that, where I'm like, intro, and then stop, and then I'm over here, and then this, and then, right? So
yeah, that's how I do. And I just, sometimes simple as just changing your angle, like it just spinning around and shooting a different angle, and then holding the camera slightly higher or slightly lower, slightly angled, just so that every 10 seconds or so, you're changing, so that you keep people's attention. Again, these are tips that I learned just by watching and doing it, but also like I spend, a couple of days of just watching people talking about their content. I'm like, I like how this guy's doing. I like how this girl's doing it. I'm going to not copy them. I'm just going to like adapt their style to me and then make it my own. So, and then, in the beginning, if you're going to copy someone's style, that's totally fine. Like, don't copy what they're saying, but just copy their style of videos. It's totally fine. I mean, I'm sure that you ended up looking at somebody else and modeling them as well. So don't be afraid to see what's performing. Don't overthink it. See what caught your attention for videos that you watched the full video for, and then I've seen people do like writing style where they're like, here's all the workflows you can build for. I'm like, oh, I like that. So I took the whiteboard and I did a video like that.
Yeah.
And it actually performed well. So experiment. The bottom line is you don't know what's going to work. You got to put stuff out. It may work for somebody else. It may not work for you. And then just put content out and learn from what's working, and whatever's working, repeat. If that style of video worked, do another video with a similar style, or similar hashtags, similar things, and just see if that continues to work for you.
Yeah. One last thing I want to, Elle brought up a great point. TikTok isn't meant to be perfect. It's for you to be your authentic self, give your brand a personality. The goal is not to get views. The goal should be to help at least one person a day.
I like that.
So that's also a good reframe. I think that we're so in our head about looking good and showing up professionally. That shouldn't be your focus when creating content. It's about if one person heard this message and it changed their life, etc., help them. Create content from that space, because that is the kind of content that reaches the masses.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, you're not trying to get a million people who don't care about your brand or your product. You want, the one person that's like, I connected. I love it. I'm going to follow this person for more. Right? And it's a journey. It's not like this one video is going to get you thousands of customers. It's about building a relationship so that people can follow you and keep, following your stuff if you keep delivering good value. And then once they follow you, they're going to look you up. They're going to be like, oh, what else did they do? Or what else? They'll click on the link in your bio, or they'll, look you up on YouTube or on Google and see what you're all about and get connected with you that way. So don't worry about the tons of views. It's about connecting with, like I said, that one person. If you make that connection on every video, you're gonna grow.
Exactly. And then people buy your product, follow you, you build your community, etc. So Hani, we've covered a lot of ground today.
It's fun. I love this. I love this topic.
Me too. One thing to mention before I ask you my last question is, if anyone would like to try repurpose.io for free, we have a link below with a special offer where I think you get, is it 30 or 21 days?
I think we're up to 30.
Awesome. So
trial. Yeah.
30 days for free, which is double their usual trial. What you can do is see a link in the description, or go to launchandscale.co/repurpose for that free 30-day trial. Hani, my last question is there anything else today that I should have asked you that I haven't?
No, we covered everything. I mean, I would just kind of last words or last thoughts is focus on delivering value. Focus your energy on the content, and then everything else can be automated or outsourced or a combination of both. So focus your heart, your soul on creating value for anyone watching your video, even if you think no one's watching. Like, even if the views don't show a lot of people watching, whoever's watching your video, you want to make an impact with it. Maybe even like was mentioned earlier, is that one person. It takes time. It's a process. You got to just keep putting out. You can't put one video and say, oh, no one watched it, I'm done, I'm not going to do it again. You cannot. You need to do it over time, and things will evolve for you.
And by adding value, there's 3 kinds of video content you can have to create value. One is educational, one is entertain, one is inspire. So you don't have to have a message on how to use my planner. It can be, you can inspire someone through a good quote that they just needed to get through a bad day.
Okay. I like that. It's not all about you or about your product or your service. It's just you're offering value in different ways.
Exactly. So, oh man, so much. Guys, please thank Hani for taking time out of his day to talk to you about repurposing and hopefully changing your business by implementing some of the strategies we talked about today. Just say big thank you in the comments, and like this video. Apart from that, guys, we look forward to seeing you in the next event that we do. Okay. See you later. Okay.